Welcome back to the podcast. My name is Joseph Clough, and this is episode 447. Or if you're in my program, it is episode 726. 27 even. And yeah, so 727. So as always, I hope you are doing fabulous, that you are ready to learn, ready to change, and to get more clarity on living the life that you totally desire and, of course, that you deserve. Now, in this episode, I want to break things down in terms of achieving our goals and our desires, what we really wanted to achieve, because there are so many different dimensions and recipes to success. I mean, it's almost like trying to bake a cake, right? There's lots of different recipes out there and lots of different kind of ingredients. And depending on how you put those ingredients together, the quantity of those ingredients, from missing out some of those ingredients to putting other ingredients in, will cause you to get a different result in what you bake. And it's the exact same thing when it comes to our goals in any endeavor in our life. Like, you might be saying, like, Joseph, I want to be able to take my business from 20K per month to 30K per month. Or I want to get that promotion. I'm transitioning from into and desiring the CEO role. Or I want to get into a leadership role. I want to be able to get that relationship. I want to be able to have health, wealth, really any of the things that are on your mind. And based on what you do, how you do it, will transform the level of results that you get. Now, on the one level, you might be saying, look, Joseph, let's just say I want to achieve a certain goal or outcome. And you think about the reasons why you want it. And you go, well, I just want to be happier. I think if I get that job, if I get from 20K to 30K per month in my business, I'm going to be happier. Now, the truth of the matter, if we treat it as like a recipe, that my goal is to be happier, the happier is simply a state of mind. It's not even happiness when you say happier, because it's such an ambiguous statement. I just want to be happy. I want to have success. I want to have a relationship. We haven't quantified what kind of relationship. It could be another crap relationship. It could be more money. I could give you $1, a pound, a euro, any form of currency for that matter, and you've achieved your goal. Even wanting more success, you could have a successful day, and therefore it was more successful and achieved your goal. So the ingredients of getting our goals has to be kind of specific. There has to be a logical system. There's got to be steps involved. And if we do them in the wrong order, like just being very general, you will not really achieve the goal, because you cannot get it into the context or the content to yield the kind of results that you want. So you do have to be specific on one level. But like all things, even the ingredients metaphor, that's not the only ingredient that we need. We need to be able to be open to something more than that. That's why I always say, when I coach people, when they say, there's my goal, I want them to go, this is my goal, or something better. Therefore, we are opening up the possibility of something better coming in, and I think that's always a good thing to do. So I want 30K per month or better. Now suddenly the range of possibility is fantastic. So we can keep our goals and our dreams absolutely open-ended, very specific, but something more than that. And if we go down, I just want to be happier. How specifically would you like to be happier? How would that show up in your life? And really think about it. Because if you're shying away from the specifics, you are shying away from the results. To be happier, watch a funny movie, and you will be happier. Have some chocolate, and you will if you like chocolate, you'll be happier. 10, 15 minutes later, maybe not. You might then go all the way back to where you were, and even worse because you feel guilty for having that chocolate, if that was the case for you. So specifying what specifically you want, how you want it to show up in your world, and have a context will allow you to then figure out, well, what does that really mean to me? What does that really mean to achieve that? How will it show up? With who do I want this goal? Because sometimes you want it with someone, like a family. Your family, maybe someone else's, but specifically your family. You want to be able to notice how this fits together in terms of your life. Let's just say you want to earn that 30K per month. Now, in your subconscious, in your unconscious, it might be thinking, oh my goodness, I'm going to have to put another 20 hours in every single week on top of the 40 hours that I'm doing, or even 50 hours that I'm doing. And that means I won't have the time with my wife or my husband or my children. So in itself, the initial desire to get 20 to 30K, unconsciously you will self-sabotage it because it thinks the steps of getting to that goal is going to have a negative byproduct of an effect in relationships. Doing that extra 20 hours per week is probably going to have a negative effect on your health. So we have to really weigh up where we want these in our life and how it will have an effect on other things. Even if it would entail another 20 hours per week. Is that a sacrifice we're willing to make? If that's the only way, and I can assure you, like, making a change in your mind, you can make things show up so much quicker. You can just make things happen. But let's just say you're going through by yourself, you're doing what you think the steps are. Even doing those 20 hours extra a week, you go, I'm at peace with that. This is how I'm going to deal with my health. There's what I'm going to deal with my relationships, to be able to down or lessen the negative byproduct. Because when you do that, you're acknowledging the incongruency of the goal. The goal was to get 20K to 30K per month. In your unconscious mind, you rationalize it, or try to, by thinking, well, that means I've got to do another 20 hours per week, which then further goes is going to have a negative impact on my health and my relationships. And therefore, we then go ahead and think about it in such a way, go, well, this is what I'm going to deal with. This is how I'm going to navigate it, which will cause your unconscious mind to either not or lessen the self-sabotaging. Because we can have these fabulous ideas, goals, and dreams in our mind, but if our unconscious mind is just screaming out at you going, no way, it's going to cause so much potential stress in this area of your life, that area of your life, it will do anything to take you out of that goal and dream. This is where it gets really serious, because you will be wasting so much time and energy when you go about it in this lack of clarity. You got to truly understand why you want what you want. How do you want it to show up? What are the effects of achieving this goal? Because that's the other thing, right? Any goal that you desire in some way, in some form, will have a negativity aspect to it. Negativity. It doesn't have to be bigger or worse than the goal or where you ever are right now. But think about it. Maybe you want that 20 to 30K per month. In your mind, it could be that negativity of is going to have an effect on relationships. It's going to have a negative effect on my health, paying more tax, finding more employees to deliver the service. So there are plenty of things, even losing weight. Losing weight might cause friction in a relationship. It can happen, and it does happen. So you've got to be at peace with the negative downsides. If you want to be a celebrity, guess what? Your privacy is going to be dramatically reduced. There's going to be people looking out for you to try to get money, maybe. trying to get handouts. There's going to be a negative, and it's not an issue. It shouldn't have to be an issue, because the desire, goal, and dream that you have outweighs the negative. But if you're not clear on that negative, if you do not come up with some way of dealing with it or getting the unconscious mind to actually get the clarity, because sometimes it's going to generalize, blow things up, put it into distortion mode, and it's going to be nothing like what it really is in reality. Your unconscious mind has a great way of blowing things out of proportion. Think of anxiety, right? Think of all the things you don't want to happen in the most profound negative way. But in reality, it rarely ever happens in the way that we thought it in our mind unconsciously. So we must be at peace, or come up with an action plan which will deal with the negative consequence. And therefore your unconscious mind will go, well, that makes sense. Or that's now worth it. You're listening to me. That makes sense. And then the resistance, the self-sabotage will start to disappear. It'll either fully go. Some things, look, you got to reprogram your mind, whatever happens, right? There's just a simple, easy way of thinking about it. Application can be different because you got to work with your unconscious mind. And it's hard to work with your own unconscious mind unless you put a lot of hours into training it each and every day, each and every week, month, and year, and so on. It's just the reality of it. Unless you get expert advice or something like that, like if you wanted to get 20 to 30K and you thought it was a certain way of doing it, you might want to speak to someone who does that or more in a way which is good and healthy, that you can ask questions, model, and take their advice. Would it cost money? Yes, it would. Of course it would. Because it's of value. It's something that they're putting time into. There has to be an exchange of energy. But would it be worth it? Absolutely so. So sometimes we do need assistance from others who know how to get you to where you want to be. And there's no shame in that as well. I mean, I think one of the biggest fears is investing in ourselves. I think one of the biggest fears is getting help from someone else. We got to be done with that. We got to go, okay, I really want to live my life the way I want. I want to be able to achieve my goals, get to my happiness, my contentment, and be willing to do whatever it takes to get there. So that's one part of the recipe, how we can fast track things. But we do have to get the right idea, the right set of ingredients to get that goal. If we don't put enough flour in the mixture, we're not going to probably get the right texture. If we don't put enough sweetness in whatever we're baking, if we're baking a cake, it might be kind of bland. So we got to formulate the goals. So let's get out of the generalization of, I just want to be happier. I just want more money. I just want another relationship. Because more often than not, it's a recipe for a disaster of repeating the same patterns and stories. You got to really get to the heart of the matter, and also acknowledge that your unconscious mind is probably going to self-sabotage you. And it's not a great far thing out of our imagination, because if our life isn't the way that we want it right now, we usually have the control over it ultimately, rather being just an effect of our environment. We got to assume responsibility for our life, no matter what situation is, because at the end of the day, that's all we can do to make that change. And we've got to get those ingredients in place to have a success strategy. I mean, you could go real simple and basic and realize what your outcome is. And like I say, be clear. What's going to be negative drawbacks? Be at peace. Deal with them. Come up with a strategy to make sure that they either disappear or they've alleviated enough to still make the goal and dream better. And then, of course, you got to take action. And that's where the steps come into play. Finding the success strategy. Yes, you can go by yourself and do that. No problems at all. But keep testing and testing and testing. Get the advice or the professional person to help you through this. If you want to lose weight, I would probably go ahead. Obviously, if it's emotional, see someone when it comes to the mind. But I would definitely be looking into nutrition and exercise and things like that. Get a professional. Figuring out by yourself is not the best thing to do. It's not necessarily a bad thing to do, but it's not going to get you to as quickly as you want to when you really think about it. So we got to take action. You got to be inspired by it. Look, if you don't feel inspired by achieving what you want, you don't really want what you want. Unless the fear is getting in the way. Then you deal with the fear which is stopping you take action. Because that could be an important thing to consider. So we're taking that massive inspired action. We've just got to also be aware of the results that we're getting. If you keep on repeating the same action and it's not yielding the result that you want, but you're expecting it to, if I keep doing the same thing over and over again, I think Einstein said that was a definition of madness, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. You got to be flexible in your behavior. You got to do things differently. You got to modify yourself. You got to keep growing, learning, absorbing, even in your greatest failures. That is the perfect opportunity to learn because of them. Because when you learn from them, I mean, some people say like fail fast. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I do understand what it really means, or the intention behind it. And it's to really, for me, to embrace failures. If they happen, learn quick. The quicker you learn, the better you'll become. If you're not learning, you're staying the same, or worse, you're becoming less. You're listening to this because I'm sure you'd like to learn something, and hopefully you are learning something, even if it's on other episodes. But the clarity of the matter is you must be in a state of learning from the things which aren't working so you can have behavioral flexibility. When you have that flexibility in the mind and body, you can act and react. You can anticipate. You can learn and grow. You can adjust, modify, and therefore you're doing the good work in your physiology and psychology. And you got to realize this. If your goal and dream is big enough, it's got to be big enough to do whatever it takes, to do things you've never done before, to get the life you've always wanted, or to do something every single day. Now, for me, I have a morning routine. It is based on custom hypnosis I create for myself. It's based on certain levels of processes I do for gratitude, brainstorming, qualities, and like it's too in-depth to do. It only takes me like 30 minutes every day to do it, but I know it supercharges my day. It creates the reality that I want, and it's great and it's perfect for me. And we get people to do the system when they go onto my program. And the reason why I say that is because you really want to make sure that you have a morning strategy. And you go, at the very least, what can I do today? Or what 3 things can I do today which are going to lead me closer to my goal? Don't just expect things to happen. Create things to happen. Build them to happen. Having that psychology and physiology from the beginning of your day will cause you to transform the results that you get. So know that it's absolutely possible. Just get the ingredients at the right proportions. Be aware of the downsides, the pitfalls. Be aware and be at peace with them. Come up with solutions. But put in the work. Get the expert help if need be. But put in the work each and every day, because we cannot complain if we're not doing. Otherwise, we're just justifying where we are. But if you're doing something, you're learning and growing, that's when you will shine. And that's when magical things just show up. That's what I love about the mind. What you put in, you'll definitely get out. Rarely do we ever put enough emphasis on it or time in it, and we expect something else in return. But it's not the way life works. What you put in is what you get out. What you invest in yourself, you're likely to get out. If you invest no time, no money in yourself, no ideas or dreaming, no morning routine that you do by yourself, we can't expect to change our circumstance. It's all on us, and that's good news. You just got to get the system down. So just get that clarity right now for me. And I hope you enjoyed this. It's just going to give you that inner game, that inner mindset, that little epiphany, hopefully. Re-listen to this and notice what happens. How you can get clearer on what you want to get it in the most profound way. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. A little bit of food for thought. Now, of course, as always, if you are ultimately wanting to transform your life to a whole new level. You are a professional. In other words, you want to excel your career or totally transform your business by releasing your psychological, emotional limitations right now. In other words, things like imposter syndrome, the limiting beliefs of not being enough or capable or deserving, the fear of success, the fear of failure, any of the fears which are holding you back. If you want us to guide you by the hand and show you the steps, the ingredients for that matter, in the right order, in such a customized, fully tailored experience, this is what I want you to go ahead and do. Number one, you can go to josephclough.info/power and watch our masterclass. That will give you a good idea of what has to happen to transform your life. So that's josephclough.info/power. Now, of course, if you're just like all in and you just want to get going and see if you're a good fit for us, go to josephclough.info/go. So it's either josephclough.info/power for the masterclass, or if you just want to go straight for it, we can discuss it, figure out where you are to where you want to be, what's really stopping you, and serve you to that success if we can, of course. We can't promise anything. We only accept people into the program who we know we can solve. Just go to josephclough.info/go. And I'll speak to you on the next episode. And we got a nice little hypnosis track on the very next one. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.